Hello, math students. Welcome back to Percent and Proportional Relationships. This is lesson 12, and it is called Problem Solving When the Percent Changes. The goal for today we will solve problems where the quantities and the percents change. The question that I want you to think about during this lesson is, when do you know that the whole has changed? All right, the things that are really crucial to understanding this lesson is you have to remember how to use the equation part equals percent of whole. And you also have to remember that having visual models to support your information really helps you see what's actually going on. Okay, and so basically this is kind of another lesson where you're applying what you've learned to make some decisions about what has changed. All right, let's give it a try. The amount of money Tom has is 75% of Sally's money. After Sally spent $120 and Tom saved his, Tom's money is 50% more than Sally's. How much money did both have at the beginning? Okay, so the first thing that we needed to do on the first read is figure out what this is about. And what I think this is about is comparing what Tom's money is to what Sally's money is. So we're comparing amounts of money. Then Sally spends something, so that means her money has decreased, and Tom didn't, so he still has his same amount, but the percentages have now changed. Okay, so let's read it again and look for quantities this time. The amount of money Tom has is 75% of Sally's. So for me, the most important thing that I see right here is we have this percent, right? I also see this word is, which tells me equals, and I see this word of, which tells me to multiply, and then I see Sally's money, and then I see Tom's money. So for me, in this first sentence, we're going to say that Sally's money is the whole, and we're going to say that Tom's money is the part. So Tom's money is the part. We know that it's 75% of Sally's money, which is the whole. Okay. Then it says after Sally spent $120. So that means that Sally had an amount of money. She subtracted $120 and Tom saved his. It now says that Tom's money is 50% more than Sally's money. How much money did they both have at the beginning? And so again, I would say another important quantity would be that she spent $120. So that means that she subtracted $120 from her amount, whereas Tom saved his. And now it says that Tom's money is, so we have that part equals percent of whole again because of that word is means equal. This is your percent, more than 50% more. So that's all related. This is kind of important right here. Is 50% more than Sally's. And so we would have Sally's again is being the whole. How much money did they both spend, or did they both have at the beginning? Okay, so step one, identify the parts. So originally our part was Tom's money, right? So let's put Tom's here, Tom's money, okay? And then that percent is 75%, so I'm going to write 75% is here. And then we have Sally, who was the whole, so we're going to say Sally's money is the whole, right? And unfortunately, we don't know how much either of them have yet. Okay, so then it says after you've identified those pieces, now we would make a double number line so that we can figure out how to determine the amounts. Okay, so in the first problem, it said Tom's money is 75% of Sally's money. So we already determined that Sally's money is the whole. Okay, so on this modified double number line for me on this first one, I'm not going to use all four boxes. I just made these ahead of time so that we can have some. But for the very first one, I'm not going to worry about this box because it says that Tom's money is 75%. So I know that right here is 75%. If right here is 0, this is 25, right? This is 50, that's 75, and this is 100, right? So then this one over here would be 125, okay? So now what we know is Tom's money is the amount up to right here. So from here to here is Tom's money, okay? And then I would say from here to here is Sally's money, right? Does that make sense? So Sally's money is the whole, and Tom's money is 75% of it. Okay, then we know that Sally spent 120 of her dollars, and Tom didn't. So where Tom is should be exactly the same. So Tom is still going to be right here, okay? However, it says that Tom saved his, and Tom's money is 50% more than Sally's now. So if this is still Tom right here, because remember, Tom's stayed the same. It didn't move at all. So this is still Tom's money down here. But this time it says that Tom's money is now 50% more than Sally's. So if we had 50% more, then we would know that it would have to be down here would be Sally's new after she spent 120, right? Think about it, okay? So this was Sally's money originally. She spent 120 of it. Tom did not do anything. So Tom's has stayed the same, but now it says Tom's money is 50% more. We know that this is 25%. We know this is 50%. We know this is 75%. However, it says that Tom's is 50% more than Sally's now. So for me, if I'm understanding it correctly, I would say this now is Sally's money. Okay? So what that tells me is that from here down to here, she spent $120. That's what we know. So from her spending, because it says spent 120, we now know from here to here, because that's Sally's money, that those three equal 120. So if you take 120 and you divide it by 3, right, you would get 40. So all of these have to have 40 in them, right, because that's 120. So this one has to have 40 in it, right? And it says she spent 120, so that means that she only has this left, right? So then that would help us figure out Tom's, and because Tom's did not change at all, we know that Tom had 120 and Sally had 160. Do you see how we were able to figure that out? Okay, so Tom is 75% of Sally. So now let's try some math and see if it's right. We're saying that we believe that Tom's money is 120. So if we go back to that original equation and we look at it and we said that Tom was the part, right? So Tom's money equals 75% of Sally's money, right? And then we found out that Tom is 120 equals 75% of Sally. So now we can figure it out by using a BU chart. But first, remember, we have to change that into 75 over 100 equals, times Sally equals 120. And so now we can do a BU chart right here. And we have S. We times it by 75 over 100. So to undo that, we have to times it by the reciprocal, which is that, and we should be left with Sally's money. So I'm going to take 120 over 1 times 100 over 75, and that gives me, sorry, I'm running out of room. Let me do the math over here. So 0, 0, 0, placeholder, 0, 0, 0, placeholder, placeholder, 0, 2, 1, add them all together, and I get that gigantic thing, so it would be 12,000 divided by 75, and now I'm going to take 12,000 and divide it by 75, and I know that that can go in there one time. Subtract that, and that becomes that. So 450, so let's try 6. Does 6 work? Yeah, totally works. So that's 30, 42, 43, 44, 45. Check it out. It worked perfectly. And we get 160. So now we proved that we were correct, because didn't we say that Sally's money was 160? We absolutely did, because look, 40 times 4 is 160. 40 times 3 is 120. So now we know that Tom's money was 120, and we know that Sally's money was 160. Okay? So that was pretty cool how it worked. Does everybody see how we did it? Okay? So really, really important is to use those visual models to help you, right? And then also just remember how important it is to label everything so that you can remember what you're working on. Okay, so then step 3 says calculate the change to determine the unknown amount, which we did. And then the last thing that we have to do is remember to solve a changing percent problem, identify the first whole, and then the second whole, and use the formula quantity equals percent of whole, which is what we did right here. Okay, so we identified the parts. We made the first modified double number line just to organize our thoughts. Then we did what it said, where Tom's stayed the same and Sally's changed. We were able to see that because this amount from here to here was what she spent, which when you divide it up into 3 sections, it's 40. We were able to put 40 in where it goes, and then we were able to figure out the final answer. Okay? So don't be overwhelmed. Just remember how to use your information correctly. Okay? So our goal for today we will solve problems where the quantities and percents change. Question, when do you know when do you know that the whole has changed? I think the answer to that question is based on what the problem is telling you. We knew immediately that Sally was the whole because of this sentence right here. Tom is 75% of Sally. So we knew that was the whole from remembering part equals percent of whole. And then she's the one who spent her money. So we knew immediately that the whole changed because of that. Okay? All right, kiddos. That's all I've got for you today. Talk to you soon. Bye.